This is a discussion of recent developments involving Dumpling and his community. This will be a longer video filled with photo evidence, but please keep in mind that all the information presented here comes directly from people who confirm the information: Dumpling Dad himself, Dumpling Server, and Remy. As always, please do not send any hate or harassment to anyone mentioned in this video. The goal here is to provide clarity and raise awareness for those who might be confused or unaware of the situation. Content warning. This video will discuss sensitive topics, including hate, the leaking of private information, self-harm, suicidal thoughts, and violent behavior. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Timeline begins. On July 6, 2025, a photo allegedly showing Dumpling Dad was leaked online by a user named I Love Rice. The following day, on July 7th, Dumpling Dad publicly addressed the situation in a post. He stated that he was uncomfortable with the unauthorized face reveal and respectfully requested that the photo be removed. At this time, it remains unclear whether Dumpling Dad explicitly instructed his followers not to send hate toward the original video, as previous posts that may have contained conflicting statements have since been deleted. Later on, Dumpling Dad posted another video addressing claims that, due to the hate, the girl involved had taken her own life and was no longer with us. He profusely apologized in response to this news. However, he later received a message from someone claiming to be her friend, stating that she had lied about her death. During this time, there were also growing allegations questioning the credibility of the situation. Many found it hard to believe that Dumpling Dad would willingly send his face to a stranger. Additionally, there were claims that he had lied about the photo being posted, and suspicions were raised about the girl's account, which appeared recently created and potentially inauthentic. In this screenshot, the video on the left side shows Dumpling Dad addressing the photo allegations and explaining why he sent the image. He states,
I sent the photo to her because she kept demanding that I was a girl, and to prove otherwise, I sent her a photo, then went to bed afterward. I didn't know she was going to make a video about me the next day until I woke up.
It's important to note that in this video, he does not deny that the photo was of him. He simply explains why he sent it. However, this video was later deleted. The following is proof that the photo was, in fact, not of him. After that, he made another video addressing the situation once again. This time, he claimed that the photo was fake and that he never claimed it was him. Whether or not he initially confirmed or denied the photo as his own, it cannot be verified, as he has repeatedly deleted videos related to the situation. However, what can be confirmed is that there is evidence proving the video does exist at one point. He also made another video changing his story again, this time explaining that his one and only friend, Zach, who he described as mean, had coerced him into handing over his account so Zach could handle the situation, as Dumpling was afraid of receiving death threats. This explanation left many fans and viewers confused. Here is photo proof of those reactions. During the drama, Dumpling Dad was also receiving some hate, as people once again accused him of lying about his face reveal. Despite the backlash, he uploaded another video, not long after the previous one, which he later deleted as well. In that video, Dumpling Dad claimed that one of his fans had died as a result of hate comments. According to him, he received this information directly from the child's parents. It was a confusing and emotional situation, and many people didn't know what to make of it. Although Dumpling Dad was getting some criticism, the majority of his fan base was very sympathetic toward him, which gained him popularity. In fact, some fans took things too far, sending death threats to those who disagreed with or criticized him. But then again, Dumpling Dad did address the disgusting behavior some people were directing at his fan base and mentioned that he was considering quitting because of it. At that point, it really should have been the end of it. July 10th, Remy's video. On Thursday morning, a video surfaced of someone ranting about their ex-friend, Dumpling Dad. The person went by the name Remy, and in the video, they discussed their past relationship with Dumpling Dad, how they became friends, and how things eventually fell apart between them. Remy also mentioned that Dumpling Dad was a girl, which I can confirm based on a message from one of Dumpling's friends. While discussing a private matter, the friend said,
"Since your videos are talking about my friend, I assume you know her account."
Remy made some serious allegations against Dumpling Dad, which quickly caused a wildfire of reactions online. In response, Dumpling Dad released a video expressing his frustration with Remy. He denied the accusations, claimed they weren't true, and ended the video by saying,
"I would love to fucking see your proof, bitch. I hate has-been hotel, you motherless bitch."
The statement caused even more controversy and added fuel to the already chaotic situation. People even went to Remy's page and began sending him death threats and hate, all in an effort to protect their so-called father. And if you didn't know, Dumpling Dad is a minor. Reportedly, between the ages of 14 and 16, possibly 15 at best. He's chronically online and has mentioned multiple times that he is a minor. But after the hate, another video started to appear by @LeahSlalala, who has also provided proof of Dumpling's dad fake face reveal. They also made a video supporting Remy's claims, pointing out that Remy's story was more consistent than Dumpling Dad's. They noted that Dumpling Dad's narrative kept changing, and even went as far as insulting his fans, calling them gullible and saying they couldn't think for themselves because they believed everything Dumpling Dad said. This video also made Dumpling Dad upset and caused him to backtrack from his usual comforting persona. Instead, he lashed out on TikTok, calling his haters motherless and claiming that many of his fans don't have a father figure, implying that's why they look up to him. But I don't think Dumpling noticed that LeahSlalala pointed out that he wasn't trying to be disrespectful to people without fathers. They even clarified in their statement,
"No hate for people with no dad's eye. Don't have one either."
Despite this, Dumpling Dad went on to do the same thing to his haters, insulting them in similar ways. While his fanbase cheered him on, this still led to Remy receiving more hate due to Dumpling's massive fanbase, but there were also a few people who were kind enough to support him and believe him. A couple of hours later, Remy made another video explaining more about why he had spoken out. He clarified that he was simply sharing his past trauma involving Dumpling Dad. Remy also expressed that all the hate was starting to affect him, especially since he had previously struggled with suicidal thoughts. He pointed out that Dumpling Dad had provided no proof or evidence to disprove his claims and instead was just cursing him out. As a result, Remy announced that he would be quitting for now, but said he would respond if Dumpling Dad posted anything further. Dumpling Dad did end up responding again, claiming that Remy was a liar. He began cussing Remy out and stated that he had no control over his fanbase, which is true to an extent, but it's also important to recognize that he holds significant influence over them. Instead of directly addressing or disproving the allegations, Dumpling chose to use evidence gathered by his fans to try and expose Remy. He accused Remy of catfishing, which, while wrong, was seen as hypocritical, considering Dumpling himself had lied about his face reveal in the past. Despite the contradiction, many of his fans continued to stand by him. He also claimed that Remy had no proof, while ironically showing clips from Remy's own video that included evidence. Rather than reaching out to Remy privately to resolve the situation, Dumpling publicly cursed him out and even said he was glad Remy had quit, despite Remy opening up about experiencing trauma. During this time, the situation left many people confused, but a large number continued to side with Dumpling Dad, and he even gained more followers as a result. This outburst from Dumpling Dad and his claim not to be sage only fueled more backlash, as his fans became even more upset and began sending more disgusting and hateful comments toward Remy. A couple of hours later, Remy uploaded his own expose video, directed at Dumpling Dad, finally sharing the proof he had been trying to present. In the video, he provided additional evidence and also mentioned details related to Dumpling Dad's account. Not even seconds later, Dumpling Dad suddenly posted a new video. This time, he wasn't cussing Remy, out. Instead, he claimed that they should have talked privately from the beginning. He expressed a desire to speak with Remy directly and even told his fans to go DM Remy to encourage a conversation. This was a sharp contrast from his earlier behavior, where he had cussed Remy out and was glad that Remy was off the platform. Not to mention, after the allegations against him, one of Dumpling Dad's supposed fans leaked an IP address believing it belonged to Remy. Instead of deleting or censoring the IP, Dumpling Dad went on to share it himself, effectively doxing the person. Here is evidence proof, so people don't come crying to me in the comments of being a liar.
And by the way, Remy, be careful. One of my fans literally leaked your address.
This is him, by the way. When confronted about this, Dumpling Dad responded by saying he was too lazy to stalk them. And when the topic of doxing came up, he replied with,
"What is dox, by the way?"
Which is a very interesting thing to say, considering he had posted a video just 2 days earlier talking about being doxed himself. But I digress. There are also screenshots of Dumpling Dad allegedly telling people to harm themselves or commit self-harm. Here's a video proving it was him. What makes it worse is that most of his followers are minors, and it's often his own children, as he calls them, who have to point out or confront him about his actions before he even acknowledges them. In my honest opinion, that doesn't seem very comforting or dad-like at all, especially when you're in a position of influence over so many vulnerable young people. Here's also something important I want to address, and yes, this is my opinion, but I genuinely don't like how Dumpling Dad handled the IP leak situation. The way he talked about doxing, especially in relation to the shipping allegations, made it seem like it wasn't a serious issue. I find that extremely disturbing, because whether or not that IP belonged to Remy, if it had fallen into the wrong hands, especially someone hateful, it could have ended very badly. And that's not okay. What makes it even more hypocritical is that just a while ago, Dumpling Dad said in a video that he felt deeply uncomfortable when his supposed face was leaked. So for him to minimize the seriousness of doxing someone else is not only irresponsible, but also incredibly unfair. Remy actually joined the Discord server in an attempt to talk things out and resolve the situation. However, Dumpling Dad repeatedly said no and didn't seem willing to cooperate, despite previously claiming in one of his videos that he wanted to handle things privately and maturely. In the server, someone asked, "And you guys still believe he was in the right?" referring to everything Dumpling Dad had done throughout the situation. And some might say, yes, I do believe him, because of his recent video updating us about Remy. But let's look at the video, shall we?
Okay, so I'm back with updating y'all with Remy. Last night I talked to him and tried to explain him how I'm not this Sage person, but he kept saying like, "You're Sage, this is you, you're him." Girl, I've been telling you I'm not fucking Sage. Did he listen to me? No. He didn't even answer my questions. I asked him, "How many siblings do I have? What kind of family problems?" He said, "I didn't tell him about any of that. I'm sorry, but I tell everyone about that." And I told him to fucking think. Why would this Sage name person come up to him one day randomly and tell him that my account is his, and then block him? Like, ho, this bitch could be lying about being me. He lied about fake face leaks, scars, which I have none, and lied about more things. Just think, why would Sage not lie about being me if he lied about being these? Remy said this Sage person is trans, which I'm not, and he said I pulled my pants down in the call, but never talked about the gender, and I don't like calling anyways. He never talked about the other 6 bitches in the call. I have been explaining him not Sage cuz I do not fucking know that person. Sage lied to Remy about being me, then blocked his bitch ass. I told him if he was gonna quit, then he should make an explanation about how I'm not Sage. Did he listen? No, the bitch is deaf. He just quit, after making me seem problematic, and then ruined my reputation, then walked away. Bitch, I feel like I'm played by a player boy. Like, ho, you did not think I told you so many fucking times that I hate Husband Hotel, or whatever the name is, and also I don't know a lot about Discord, but you have Discord server. Bitch, that Discord server was made by a fan. This stupid hoe named Sage lied about his face, scars, and more. Y'all think this Sage person won't lie about being me? He lied about being me, then blocked Remy's ass. Think smart before coming to me and keep blaming me. I'm gonna make this private later, cuz I don't want drama anymore. It messing with my mental health, and I'm not. Okay, Remy messed up with my mental health and reputation, and I'm fucking so mad. The bitch keeps saying I'm Sage, even though I'm not stupid. Also, here is some suspicious proofs that I'm not Sage. My username is Suki yes cuz, but there's thing called alt account. Bitch, I don't even know so much about Discord, and I forgot my password. Gee, the hoe doesn't even know which one is my alt account in Roblox, which I friended my friends in, and I need y'all to talk to this person, really.
If what he said is true, then where did that screenshot in his so-called proof video suddenly come from? Even if it were true that Dumpling Dad isn't Sage, does that give him The right to threaten people, leak their IPs, and silence them? In his video, he never addressed these serious issues, not even to his fans. And you might bring up that both Remy and Dumpling made up in their private messages and even mentioned their supposed video. And yes, when I first saw it, I was shocked and thought everything had been dealt with. But no, there was more to it. In the video, Dumpling says this.
More about him and what happened. I feel so sorry for him. The more I talked to him, the more he earned my respect. And I realized I was in the wrong too. Sending people death threats was wrong. And I'm truly so sorry for that. I really am.
If you're really sorry like you claim, then explain this message you sent to Remy. What you did was vulgar, disgusting, and outrageous. You used your fan base to personally attack someone, and not just only on the internet, but their personal life. Remy even expressed how uncomfortable he felt and how afraid he is to speak up now. Looking back at that photo Dumpling shared on his story, and learning the full story behind why they made that video, it's honestly disturbing on so many levels. Enough about Dumpling, let's talk about his god-awful fans. Dumpling fan base. After Dumpling Dad posted the video claiming he wanted to apologize to Remy but was blocked, he encouraged his entire community to go and message him. A creator known as Dumpling Aunt went into Remy's DMs doing exactly what Dumpling Dad had told her to do. She messaged Remy, likely expecting him to go back and resolve things with Dumpling, as if Dumpling hadn't just cussed him out not long before. Dumpling Aunt kept pressuring Remy, trying to make him feel bad for Dumpling, which seems to be a recurring theme in Dumpling's content and among some of his fans. But Remy made it clear he didn't want an apology, and that's completely his right. It's not up to a so-called loyal fan, who doesn't even know Dumpling in real life, to guilt-trip Remy or say things like, "I love Dumpling Dad, I don't know you." It's honestly strange how you defend Dumpling like he's innocent, even though you don't know him personally and clearly haven't looked at what he's done. Someone else also messaged Remy. This person wasn't problematic, but I want to make it clear that some people who supported Remy also went after members of the Dumpling community. One example is Yuko. While you're entitled to your own opinion, there was no need to make those unnecessary grape jokes toward someone you disagree with. It was immature and wrong, and all it did was add fuel to an already burning forest fire. Circling back to Dumpling's fans, after Remy posted his proof, people in Dumpling's server started mocking him, going as far as to make fun of his video editing instead of addressing the actual issue. Here is photo proof. This behavior is not only disgusting, but it also reveals a deeper issue within the fan base. They don't seem to care if someone is traumatized by what they've experienced. Instead, they mock and belittle anyone who dares to speak out against their so-called minor father. Not only that, but Dumpling Dad makes no effort to stop his fan base from spreading hate even when people within his own server express that they feel uncomfortable and unsure of which side to believe. Not only that, but Dumpling's own mod and server were okay with calling a 15-year-old a prostitute. And if you didn't know, prostitution is a form of sex work that involves engaging in sexual activity in exchange for payment. The definition of sexual activity can vary, but it's often defined as involving physical contact with the customer, which also increases the risk of spreading infections. And for him to condone actions like this is honestly very disheartening, especially considering that Remy said they had already tried reaching out to Dumpling Dad beforehand. There were also members of Dumpling's server who got involved, including a 13-year-old named Sailor Star. From what I understand, Carmel received a DM from her and began arguing after she made a comment about bombing Dumpling City. Following that, Aunt Dumpling and Dumpling Dad also went into her DMs and began arguing with her. Eventually, they even started talking about her on the server, referring to her as a stubborn kid or pathetic. After her age was revealed, instead of de-escalating the situation, Dumpling laughed and allowed people to continue going after her. Yes, it was immature for her to say things like starting wars, bombing Dumpling City, or making jokes about eating dumplings, and we do have screenshots from confronting her about it, but I do think Mimi said it well. But again, I find it absolutely disgusting that Dumpling's fans remain delusional when confronted with proof, accepting this kind of behavior and refusing to listen to the other side. Meanwhile, Dumpling Dad still hasn't addressed his doxing or the way he uses his huge following to threaten people. This video is meant to inform you about the person you're following. He's manipulative, hypocritical, disgusting, and cares about no one but himself. Now I have a question for you. Do you still think Dumpling Dad is a good person?